there's a strange moment, almost invisible, where a woman subconsciously decides whether you are someone worth remembering or someone she'll forget in seconds. And most men never even notice that the moment even happened. But you're about to understand something that shifts that moment entirely in your favor. Because attraction doesn't begin with looks. It doesn't begin with confidence, money, or status. It begins with curiosity. The questions you ask, the way you create emotional oxygen around her, the feeling you give her that you see her, not just her body, her mind, her past, her conflicted heart. Most men ask surface questions. How are you? What do you do? Where are you from? But women don't fall for obvious questions. They fall for the ones that make them feel like someone finally reached their depth, instead of swimming around the shallow edges like everybody else. This right here is where attraction quietly ignites. Welcome to Be Feminine, where we study the emotional mechanics behind human attraction and why some men become unforgettable. If you're new here, subscribe, because every week we go deeper into the psychology that most people are too afraid to talk about. Now, imagine this scene. You're sitting with her. Maybe it's a date, maybe it's a casual talk, maybe it's two strangers trying to pretend there isn't some electric curiosity between them. And instead of asking, "So, what do you like doing?" you look at her with steady calmness in your voice and ask, "What moment in life changed you the most?" She will stop, because that question forces her mind to revisit a memory, a turning point, something emotional, maybe painful, maybe beautiful, but undeniably real. And that's what women crave. Reality. We live in a world of filters, masks, pretending, and she's exhausted. She wants someone who asks questions that touch her soul like fingertips pressing gently against a pulse, feeling who she actually is beneath the surface. When you ask deep questions, you're not just getting answers. You're creating emotional gravity. You're becoming someone she wants to explore. Most men don't realize this, but women open up emotionally when they feel psychologically safe and emotionally seen. And asking powerful questions is how you quietly build that foundation. Here's a strange truth. Women are attracted to men who make them think about themselves, not you, themselves. Because when she reflects, she feels. And when she feels, she bonds. Not logically, emotionally. So when you ask a question like, "What are you afraid of losing?" or "What's something you wish people understood about you?" you're not just learning about her. You're letting her hear her own heart out loud. Imagine how intimate that is. Most men never give her that experience. They talk to her body. You talk to her soul. That's why she remembers you. There's something dark about this, something psychological. Because attraction isn't always about excitement or fun. Sometimes it's triggered by vulnerability. The moment she reveals something raw, her brain links that feeling to you. And suddenly you're not just a guy she talked to. You're a moment. You're a memory. And memories are emotional anchors. So the next time you talk to a woman, don't fear being different. Fear being forgettable. Because the fastest way to become attractive is to ask the questions no one else dares to ask. There's a moment, right after she answers a deep question, where her eyes reveal more than her words ever could. You'll notice it if you pay attention. The slight softening in her voice, the tiny pause before she speaks, as if she's suddenly remembering she's human again. That's where the second question slips in, not rushed, not forced, just naturally born from the moment you created. Ask her this. What's something you'd do if you knew nobody would judge you? This question forces her mind into the life she wishes she lived, into the dreams she hides, into the version of herself she keeps buried under expectations, fears, and the quiet exhaustion of being strong all the time. Most men only see who she is. You're asking who she wants to be. And women are deeply attracted to men who speak to possibility. Men who awaken the version of her she secretly admires but rarely expresses. There's something powerful in showing her a world she's too scared to live in alone. Something magnetic about making her feel less ashamed of her desires. Because here's a truth most men never realize. Women don't fall for the man standing in front of them. They fall for the man who makes them feel safe enough to be who they really are. Imagine sitting across from her, maybe in a coffee shop or maybe over a late-night call. Darkness outside, stillness in the world. And she tells you something vulnerable, something she never admits out loud. And instead of reacting with surprise or judgment, You quietly say, "I get that more than you think." Those 6 words carry more intimacy than 100 compliments, because attention is surface level, but understanding is emotional intimacy. Here's the third question she secretly hopes a man will ask. What makes you feel most understood? This question reveals her emotional language, what type of presence she falls for, what type of man she feels safe with, and what emotional wounds she carries without ever confessing them. If she's been ignored, she'll crave attention. If she's been judged, she'll crave acceptance. If she's been disappointed, she'll crave consistency. But she'll never just say these things. You have to invite them gently. And when she tells you, don't rush to reply. Silence is seductive when it's thoughtful, because it communicates something most men never give her: space. You see, a woman doesn't fall into attraction like a stone in water. She drifts into it slowly, like someone walking deeper into the ocean without realizing she's already too far to return. That's the dark psychological truth. Women rarely notice when they start investing emotionally, but by the time they do, it's already too late. The connection has taken root. A man who understands depth becomes dangerous without trying, because most men chase attention. But the rare ones, they chase understanding. There's a thin line between curiosity and seduction, and she feels it deeply. When you speak to the version of her nobody ever tries to reach. And just like that, you're no longer a stranger. You've become a place her emotions can rest. There's a fourth question, and it's powerful in a way most men overlook. Ask her this gently, when the moment feels calm, not rushed. What do you value most in the people you let close to you? This question forces her brain to sift through her emotional history, past mistakes, past betrayals, past lessons. She isn't just answering you. She's reliving the people who disappointed her, who inspired her, who shaped her. And while she talks, her subconscious starts comparing you to every man she's known. Without you saying anything, she's already measuring whether you fit her emotional standard or exceed it. Here's the psychological twist. Women don't bond when they're talking about themselves. They bond when they're explaining themselves. The moment she starts describing what she values, she is unconsciously revealing what she needs: attention, loyalty, presence, understanding, stability. Whatever she says, listen like it's sacred, because in her mind, it is. Now, the fifth question is subtle, emotional, and beautifully dangerous. What would make you feel happiest right now in your life? Be careful with this one, because it uncovers her emotional hunger. It tells you whether she's craving peace, excitement, love, adventure, validation, or simply someone who actually listens. A woman becomes attracted to the man who understands what she's emotionally starving for and doesn't judge her for it. Let her speak. Let her unravel. Let her be honest in a way she's not used to. The more she reveals, the more attached she becomes to the one who allowed her to reveal it. This is where attraction quietly turns into emotional attachment. But now, the sixth question, the one that makes her imagine a future with you without realizing she's doing it. Ask her, what do you think you'll be like 10 years from now? Her answer won't be about time. It'll be about hope, fear, dreams, the world she secretly wants to live in. And here's the psychology behind it. When she imagines the future while talking to you, her brain starts pairing you with whatever future she desires. If she imagines love, she subconsciously places you inside it. If she imagines peace, she associates you with that emotional calm. Her mind can't separate the fantasy from the source that triggered it. And that is how emotional attraction is unconsciously built. Not with pickup lines, not with charm, but with questions that open doors no one else tries to touch. You are not trying to impress her. You are trying to understand her, and that is unforgettable. Now listen carefully. Women don't fall for the man who makes her laugh, or the man who looks confident, or the man who plays some boring dating game strategy. She falls for the man who gives her a space where her heart finally feels heard. There's something most men completely miss in these moments. They think the magic is in asking questions, but the truth is deeper, darker, more intimate than that. The real attraction comes from how you respond to her answers. Because when a woman opens up, she's not testing your curiosity. She's testing your emotional maturity. She's watching your reactions quietly, reading your tone, measuring your depth as a man. So when she shares something personal, don't react with shock or excitement. Don't jump to solutions. Don't try to fix anything. Just breathe and let the moment settle like dust in a quiet room. Then respond gently, slowly, with empathy, not analysis. Thank you for sharing that with me. Those words are soft, but they carry emotional electricity. They tell her she's safe with you, that she did something meaningful, that she wasn't judged, mocked, or misunderstood. And that safety is the most dangerous form of attraction, because once she feels it, she can't unfeel it. Now here's the psychological technique most men never learn. After she finishes speaking, mirror the emotion, not the content. If she shares something painful, don't ask more questions. Say something like, "That must have been really heavy for you." If she shares something exciting, say, "You sound really proud of that." If she shares a dream, say, "That means a lot to you, doesn't it?" You're not reacting to the information. You're reacting to the emotion underneath the information. That's what pulls her closer. That's what makes her feel connected. Remember this. Women don't bond through words. They bond through emotion interpreted correctly. Now here's the final dark psychological truth. When a woman feels emotionally understood, she begins to project compatibility onto you automatically. She doesn't even realize she's doing it, but her brain starts imagining you and her as a possibility. She thinks about you before sleeping. She replays the conversation. She wonders if it was accidental or destiny. But it wasn't accident, was it? It was emotional precision. So the next time you talk to a woman, don't try to impress her. Don't try to perform. Don't try to charm. Just listen with presence. Respond with emotion. And let her reveal herself piece by piece. Because attraction doesn't happen in the moment. It grows in the silence after the moment, in the quiet thoughts she has when you're not around. Now, before we end, I want you to understand this. Real masculine energy is not loud. It's not aggressive. It's not prideful. Real masculine energy is a place a woman can emotionally exhale. And if you become that place, she will crave you without understanding why. If this spoke to you, if something inside you shifted, subscribe to Be Feminine because we explore the side of attraction most people never address. And remember, ask the questions no one ever asks her, and she will feel things she never expected to feel for you.